How well have you kept up with Andrew Tate?
Not very. I don't think I've ever really watched all this stuff other than what are clips I've ever seen floating around social media.
I've just seen the clips and people making fun of him. And, well, not just that. I've seen the stuff so that people can't come after me like, oh my God, you actually don't watch him. You just watch people make fun of him. I've watched his stuff. But something hilarious happened. I think last week. He got arrested again. Right now, he cannot leave Romania, right?
Yeah.
Can't leave Romania because he is still under investigation. They're still going to take him to court. There's all that is happening, right?
Yeah.
My friend, do you know who Aiden Ross is?
Yeah.
Aiden Ross went on his stream and said, hey guys, big things coming. Andrew just texted me, Andrew Tate, and he read out, hey, I'm leaving Romania soon. If you want to come for a week to do streams, I think it will be big. Which got the Romanian government to say, hey, this motherfucker's about to flee. Let's go get him. So now he went to prison. Dude, his lawyer was like some text messages that were misconstrued by Aiden Ross. And I'm like, sure, that was misconstrued. Yeah. That's what you get by being fans with or being friends with that fucking twerp, though, dude.
Dude's just like, yeah, I'm gonna out you on everything. Don't know what your circumstances are. Yeah,
on accident, by the way.
It's like, hey, he's coming. He's leaving Romania soon. Let's go. And then Romania's just like, yeah, we watched your stream. No, you're not. Matter of fact, go ahead and get locked up.
It's kind of like, I don't know how long ago, but this was proven to be pretty false, but it was still funny how he tweeted at Greta Thunberg a tweet of him eating pizza, and people thought because like a day or two after that he was arrested, that the Romanian police saw the pizza place he was eating at and was like, oh, he's there.
Oh, I've heard
Let's
that.
go get him.
I've heard that one.
It was fake, so I'm so happy that something like that happened to him. Because that is just, that's so funny.
That's hilarious.
But his whole, what do you think of Andrew Tate, Mr. Tate?
What I think of Andrew Tate, I can't really say I have much of an opinion on him. Because, like, I don't really listen or watch whatever he watches stuff or anything.
You didn't buy his course?
No. I ain't been spending money on none of that. But from what I had seen, he seems like his, like, kind of old school kind of dude. That's a good way to put it. Like, his mindset is like a young dude with an old soul, but within terms of how he acts, I guess.
A dumbass old soul?
Yeah.
Because even, okay, here's my opinion on Andrew Tate. I fell into this little deep hole a couple times. I'm going to have an opinion that's been spat out 10,000 times, but I'm going to speak it again. When he says, take care of yourself, focus on building yourself up, go to the gym, focus on your side job, get your money up, whatever. Cool. That's all cool.
Yeah.
But then when he says, if I get on a plane and a woman is flying, I'm demanding to get off that plane, or I'm asking who's actually going to fly my plane, then I'm like, When he says, when your girlfriend is doing OnlyFans, she owes you a cut, but if you do it, you don't owe her anything. And then when it comes out that he ripped women from their home countries, cut off their family, and forced them to do sex work, I'm like, okay, kind of could figure that.
The first thing you said, get your money up, do you, be better, all that. Cool.
Work on yourself.
That's all fine and dandy. Just about everything after that.
I'm sorry, you don't sign on to sex trafficking?
No, I don't think I do.
You don't co-sign on that?
As a matter of fact, I think I'm wildly against it.
And let me say, allegedly. He's an alleged sex trafficker. He said this with his own two lips, his own mouth, his own brain. He has said these things, but he is not
I want to stick
legally.
to the allegedly.
Yes, he has not legally been convicted of the things I just said he did, but allegedly he for sure did them. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
But he promotes this kind of, I'm in this world right now of trying to figure myself out. We've talked about this every now and then, right? And part of that is being a man. Finding what it is to be a man, the qualities that make up a good man.
Mm-hmm.
And you look around and you see people like that. It's not just Andrew Tate, right? There's that whole community that, thank God, is dying off now, but that whole community of just red-pilled, misogynistic, every label in the book, those kind of people, to where I think it's so toxic for young men to be like, okay, that's what a man is. No, that's not what a man is.
Yeah, that's I mean, not to coin the term, hyper-masculinity or whatever the term was, but I think people think that, and from what I understand, a lot of them are incels.
Yes.
I mean, I have seen the fair bit of people that aren't or that claim to not be, but it seems like they were raised on a 60s mindset, and that's just not today.
Or they got their heart broken once. So they listen to Andrew Tate, now they think all women are a certain thing.
Yeah.
Now, on the flip side, there are for sure people that are, women are this, women are that. How could you say that about women? There are for sure people like that are fucking weirdos.
Yeah.
Weirdos. That is why, I don't know if I said this on this podcast, but I'm going to say it right now. Do not ever slap me with the term ally. Ever. Because the people who are self-described allies, the people who enjoy that label, are weirdos. Don't ever fucking trust someone who self-identifies as an ally, dude. I go out, I don't put it in my bio, I don't make it my profile picture, but the BLM movement completely support. The LGBTQ movement completely support. Do not ever call me an ally. Ever.
Yeah, there's, even with BLM or LGBTQ, there are people that have made that their whole personality. Like, cool, I support it all. Like, especially, I support it all. But there's a point where it gets to just like supporting it and then making it whoever you are.
And doxing people for disagreeing with you. Like a couple people have come. But that's a whole different thing.
Yeah. But like I fully support everything, but it's just there's a point to where I just can't handle it anymore.
Yeah. But back on the hypermasculinity, there's a very thin line between hypermasculinity and toxic masculinity. Toxic masculinity is a massive, massive discussion.
Yeah.
And before I go into what I believe it to be, I want to hear your opinion on toxic masculinity.
All right. What I believe toxic masculinity to be is almost pretty much what Andrew Tate was like at this point. Like, there's people that I've noticed in the world that are just like, oh, a woman can't do this, woman can't do that. That's a man's job. Like, sure, I get men have done it before, but anybody could do anything at this point. There's no distinction as to who should do what job. And I believe having that mindset that, oh, only a certain gender can do this falls under like toxic masculinity, or on the vice versa, toxic femininity, whatever it's called. But like sticking to the masculine side, it's almost like the man is superior in everything mindset. Which is what I consider toxic masculinity.
Yeah. See, and we're going to talk about all these different little things that I'm about to say, but toxic masculinity, for me, is taking the masculine traits to an extreme, because you can take everything to an extreme.
Yeah.
Right? As a man, traditionally, and even now, you are seen as the provider, the protector, all those things, right?
Yeah.
That does not make you better than your wife.
No.
The wife has her roles, and we're just talking traditional gender roles, right? We're not even going to talk about how it's completely impossible for a man to go to work and a woman to stay home and take care of the kids. We're not even going to talk about
there's a lot of factors that affect that. Yeah.
We're just talking how you should treat gender roles if you are lucky enough to be in that sort of position. Your wife's duty, take care of the house, take care of the kids, whatever. Right? That is a stupidly important role. So why you think you're better than a woman? Because what? You can go out of Andrew Tate's mouth. I can go out and hunt. That's what men were supposed to do. And it's a more important job. So we're better than you. Why does it have to be like that?
Yeah. And also I think that mindset really fucks up the ideals of like how people view men, because in what world are we going out and hunting for survival now?
Yeah.
So, like, why are you even going back to that? Sure, that was a thing of the past. It's not what we're doing now.
And even now, when it's like, well, men go out and get, have to do all these physically harder jobs, and say, like, the NBA is so much better than the WNBA. It's like, yes. Fundamentally, I think everybody can agree. Men are more physically capable than women. Is that the case for every? No. Amanda Nunes can kick the absolute shit out of me. And I would let her. But the general rule for an average man, average woman, the man is physically bigger, physically stronger, so he's more capable of doing those jobs. That does not mean a woman cannot do those jobs.
Yeah.
But because you are doing these physically hard jobs does not mean you're more important, does not mean you're better than a girl who's going into nursing or going into teaching or going into any of that. Because those are stupidly important jobs.
Yeah.
So we're like, well, a man is bigger and stronger. Have you learned nothing from your childhood?
Yeah.
Really?
My response to those statements are usually okay and.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, what does that have to do with anything? Sure, we may be bigger, stronger men, but I could still get my ass kicked.
Now, there is a portion of that where I do want to get your opinion on it. Raph, our mutual Raph.
Yeah.
He loves Jordan Peterson. Reads all his books, listens to the podcast. You know who Jordan Peterson is.
Yeah, I actually just listened to one of his podcast episodes because I was recommended to it by a female friend of mine.
There is one quote that he says, and he's not the only one to say it, but he's one of the ones I heard say it. And that is, you are supposed to be capable of violence, but you are also supposed to be capable of controlling it.
Does he say that a lot? Because I heard that in that podcast episode.
I'm not sure. I don't listen to Jordan Peterson.
I've only listened to that like part of that episode because I got busy, but I've heard that, and yeah, I agree.
See, I played that in my head, and he worded it as if you have to be a monster and control the monster. That's a little crazy.
It's a little. He words it in ways, yeah.
But, and I know fantasizing about this is a little fucked up, but I do play out scenarios in my head. I have 2 little sisters. Well, I have one biological little sister, and the 2 little sisters I'm talking about is my wife's little sisters. And I've played the scenario out in my head of getting a call that their man is beating the shit out of them. And my first thought, well, I gotta go. Can't just ignore that.
Yeah.
Oh, he's beating you? That's tough. I'm tired. But like getting there, and if I can't kick the dude's ass, that's a bad look, brother.
Yeah.
That's a bad look.
Which is why I tend to carry
See, no, I don't play like that. I don't play like that.
I use it strictly for self-defense. I haven't had to use it, but that's why I bought it.
Unless it's a trained fighter coming at me. If you are a trained fighter and I said something to piss you off and you go to swing, I'm pulling out that blicky. I'm pulling out that thing. I'm not fighting you. I won't shoot to kill. Promise, I'll shoot you in the knee or something.
No, I bought mine specifically because I know where I grew up, and it was not a nice. I mean, when I moved into not this house but my mom's house, there was gunshots, drive-bys happening every other night.
Right.
We lived in the middle of the hood, and I mean, of course, it's chilled out a lot now, but like not this time, but the last couple times I've been back to town. My mom was like, there was gunshots like right down the street. And I said, no, you didn't think to tell me about any of that?
Yeah, no, I figured you were talking about the hood because where I grew up, a drive-by was, a bunch of white guys in a car saying, hey, neighbor, we're going down the golf course later.
Yeah, no, very, very different from where I lived. But, that was when I pulled out the tool.
The mouse-catoodle?
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, no, I ain't going outside without it because they had been around the block like 2 or 3 times that night alone. So I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm not finna mess around with that.
But no, I know that, like, if someone busted into this house, if me and my wife had children and someone tried to take that child, I know for a fact that she is running them down. So I know that the protection job is not fully on a man. I know that a woman is fully capable of taking care of themselves. Her. You refer to non-binary people as them. But I know that.
Yeah.
But I think, I don't want to say it's biologically because society shapes a lot of the way we think.
Yeah.
Especially about ourselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it makes sense to me that even though I know that my wife can take care of herself and she's fully capable of that, I know that she still looks to me like, I want this man to fight for me, to protect me, to whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not saying all women are like that. Don't get on me. But I know my wife is like that, and I know there's a lot of women like that.
I mean, I think just because you can doesn't mean you should. Like, just because she can, handle her own business, I don't think, like, in my opinion, like, if it was my girl and I know she could do whatever she wants, whatever she has got to do, I mean, I still wouldn't want her to do it. I'd want to be the one to take care of it.
But taking that, your wife, your lady, whoever, looking to you for protection and saying that makes me better than them, that's when you cross the line of toxic masculinity. Being toxic because you are this masculine person. Mm-hmm. Because, A, it's fucked up. B, that woman is supposed to be the person that you go to first when you've had a bad day and you can just sit down, head in the titties, crying.
Yeah.
And that, I know people don't want to hear it, that is as important as you protecting her.
Mm-hmm.
Because men, perfect segue, look at me! Because men have a problem showing emotion. Men need someone they can go to, be vulnerable with, and feel completely safe. I know a lot of people don't want to hear this. Men need a safe space too. Hashtag men need a safe space too. And I know it's hard to come by. I'm saying this is how a relationship should work. Mm-hmm. In my opinion. The man should be seen as the protector. The woman should be seen as the safe space for a man. Or I'm saying this is how the relationship should work in a man's eyes.
I mean, I think that's the whole point in a relationship is to, feel safe, trust each other.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know personally, I definitely have issues showing emotion. And, I mean, I understand it completely.
But that segues into the whole men can cry thing. because I'm so tired of men complaining and bitching about the suicide rates for men. But they only bring it up when a woman is talking about a woman issue.
Yeah. That's a statistic that comes up when it works in your favor.
Yes.
And
I've said this. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just saying, and like, I especially like if you scroll through Instagram and see like anything of the sort, like women talking about things and how they're, anxious, depressed, or whatever their issue is going on in that post. And then I'll see in the comments, well, men deal with these too. Yeah. Okay, do you do anything about it?
No, I guarantee you, and I've made this point several times, I guarantee you that same person went on a fat guy's video to call him fat. I guarantee it.
Probably.
Because over and over and over again I see, like you, people bitching about men's mental health. And then look at a queso stream where the entire comment, he encourages it, but he only encourages it because it kept happening.
Yeah.
And he couldn't stop it.
Mm-hmm.
And go on any fat guy's video on TikTok, any one of them, you'll see comment after comment after comment after calling him fat. But we care about men's mental health, but you want to talk about a woman being scared of a man? Well, men kill themselves. Yeah, and you don't fucking help it. You know?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, this shit gets me so fired up because I'm so tired of hearing it.
Oh, I saw a video like last night, maybe when I was doom scrolling before bed. Two dudes started their workout journey, and it was like from the beginning to the end of where they were currently. They were some big guys.
Right.
And I see, positive comment after positive comment, and then like probably 10 comments down. Man, you guys were some real fat asses back then. Like, Jesus Christ.
Right.
Like, what was your issue?
Yeah. I've wanted, and I've said this, I've been fat my entire life. And I don't want to make this a bullying thing because we were talking about masculinity, but I've been a fat guy my entire life. I played offensive line in school or in football.
Yeah.
So my skin has become pretty tough to people calling me fat. But when because I hear it all the time that people do that because they're trying to motivate you. They're making fun of you because they're trying to motivate you to get to the gym and eating healthier.
I believe there's certain ways you can do that.
There is things. Calling someone a fat ass and, lighting up their comment section with fat jokes, that just makes them want to grab an entire pizza, sit in their bed and watch their favorite movie and just hound that pizza. And then maybe 2 slices of cheesecake. Because you're the same. You're a bigger guy. We're addicted to food. It's one of the biggest addictions we have. It's one of the biggest copes we have. Mm-hmm. Right? So when you're bullying me about it, do not come to me with, oh, well, I'm just trying to help you, bro. No, you're being a fucking dumbass.
No, you're pushing me into my coping mechanism, which usually is eating food.
Yes, some people respond to that well. Some people do. A lot of people fucking don't. Don't be a dickhead.
Yeah, I believe, like, if you're going to, shit on somebody to motivate them, there's a way you can do it, and it usually has to be when you can hear your voice.
Yeah.
Because if I can hear your intonations and I know you're not, like, saying it out of a, mean heart, then it's just like, okay, I got to work on this. But if I read a message that says, fuck are you doing, fat ass, and then, they come back later, I was just trying to motivate you. Like, sarcasm doesn't translate through text.
And also, I want to make this point, because I hear this a lot. And it's another thing that really irritates me. If you are not in my friend group, you do not get to comment on my weight or my head or my facial hair or how I eat or how I act. You don't. Okay? If I'm not looking to you for advice, and if you are not in my circle of friends, you don't get to make jokes like that. I don't know you.
I don't know you well enough to be able to take that as a joke.
You know what I'm talking about, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'll be with Raph, And Raph made a joke of like, yeah, every time a new person comes in and he walks in, I'm be like, hey, Jack's the one with the fat head. We call him Fat Head. And they're like, why do they call him Fat Head? Hey, Jack. And I turn around like, because I got a fat head. He's like, because you got a fat head. Okay? He is one of my friends. He can make that joke. If someone randomly said, hey, you got a fat head, fat ass, fuck you. You're not making a joke. You're being a dick.
Yeah.
If I get to know you and you're one of my friends now, sure, free game. Mm-hmm. What part of being friends is busting balls. Don't be a sensitive little cunt, right?
Yeah.
But if I don't know you, that's what I'm going to say. I'm going to turn around and be like, are you trying to joke with me? I don't know you.
Yeah.
I hope
it irritates me because I see people like that on social media especially, and it's just like, bro, do you know this guy? Like, yeah. What? Why? And then they'll always hit back with freedom of speech. Like, fuck you.
Fuck off. I hate that so fucking much.
Yeah.
But going back to masculinity talks, what do you think?
Go ahead.
What do you think? I can see. I just dragged up Audacity so I could see the time we're on, but I can see it on the top. I'm dumb. In your opinion, and I know we already talked a little bit about this, but I want to get an understanding of it. In your opinion, what are the qualities and the traits of a good man?
Okay. I am more of a traditional mindset. Not saying like women have to stay home or anything. No, I'm not saying anything like that. My qualities in a good man are usually generally an all-around nicer kind of guy. Like, of course I can bullshit with you like I do with you all the time off camera, especially like, you know, I can bullshit with you. You're cool. And when it comes to like being a good man, I believe that's like somebody who can get people to open up in a sense. Like a good leader, which, I mean, yeah, that's exactly what I mean. Like a good leader, a man who can provide for himself and others. Like, say you have a family, if you're actually providing for your family, like, good on you. Like my dad, not a good man, and
okay,
I've got
catching strays for no reason.
Oh, I mean, I almost
a good man is this, a good man is that, a good man. Fuck my dad. A good man is this.
I almost went into a story that I probably shouldn't share online because that's other stuff.
Yeah,
but yeah, no, I probably definitely shouldn't. But there's like my ideals for what I want, how I want to be a good man is like, especially like if I'm with somebody else, like if I have a kid, I'm staying in that kid's life, no matter whether I'm with their mom or not. Shit happens. And then, you know, I want to be able to provide for myself and my family. I want to be somebody my family can come to, whether it be to talk, to need something done, you know, anything of the sort. That's just how I view being a good man is.
What is the difference, if there is one, of being a good man and a good woman and a good non-binary person, whoever? Just what is the difference between being a good man, being a good person, and being a good woman?
I don't really find there to be much of a difference because, I mean, in my eyes, if you're good, I mean, you're cool with me. Yeah. I don't treat anybody any different way based on, you know, good man, good woman, good person. Like, I tend to treat everybody the same way, especially if I like you. If I don't, you kind of get shit on, just fuck off somewhere. But that's how I base whether I like somebody or not, is whether I find them to be a good person.
Yeah. See, I find the traits of a good man being a lot more, how you say, like mentally, personality-wise, rather than the materialistic things they can do. Like traits in a good man, I would see as empathy, open-mindedness, kindness. Open-mindedness, but still strong in your beliefs.
Yeah.
leadership is shaky for me because not everybody's a leader.
I can understand that.
You need the people that will sit back and be like, okay, take charge. I'll do what I need to do.
I think leadership is the ability to let somebody else do something that you can't. You don't have to like lead everybody to this certain point. You don't have to like direct everybody. Yeah, you just got to be smart enough to be like, I can't do that. I'll let somebody who can do it.
John Cena has a great thing of that, right? Mm-hmm. Even though I can't see him, I can hear him. So that was so stupid.
That's so dumb.
But he said that he got to the place where he's at right now by surrounding himself with smarter people. Mm-hmm. And he's constantly doing that. He's consistently, surrounding himself with better people and smarter people and whatever. So I think that's the line you're kind of towing right now, right?
Yeah. That's what I mean, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, that's what I click, because like providing for a family, traditionally, absolutely. Mm-hmm. But now, as we said,
it's not. You don't have to have that role, and it's also it's pretty hard to do that.
So being a good teammate, in a sense, if that makes sense, cooperative.
Good partner.
I'm not saying like submit, you fucking bitch. I probably shouldn't do that. That'll get taken off of YouTube. But it's cooperative in terms of, as I said, being strong in your beliefs but willing to change. Mm-hmm. Cat Williams, I don't mean to bring a bunch of quotes from a bunch of different celebrities, but Cat Williams was on a show with Larry King, I believe, the short guy.
Yeah, I know who Larry King is.
He said, "What is the worst advice someone ever gave you?" And Cat Williams said, to never change. And I think that has always been a problem with me growing up, because I heard a lot of people saying, oh yeah, never change, be who you are and whatever. It's like, when you go through life and you go through different experiences, if you don't change, you're the problem.
Yeah. But society changes so much and so often that never change is going to make you out to be the asshole in almost every situation.
And not just that, wrong.
Yeah.
Because I know there's a lot of people that are like, well, I'm proud of being an asshole. If you want to label being an asshole, that's actually a stamp of pride for me. You're a fucking idiot. Because just because you're an asshole and you're labeled one, that doesn't mean you're a good person. That's what the term asshole is, right?
Yeah, that's why we use that. You're not a good person if you're an asshole.
Yeah. But, as I said, I still believe that you have to have a strong belief system, a strong moral base. I think is very important. Being a person in general, but especially being a man.
Yeah.
And
continue your thought, because I'm changing subjects.
Well, I'm building that kind of thing. I don't have a strong moral base to me. I have what I believe to be true, and I have what I will argue for, in terms of like when I shift through or sift, however you say it, the different, topics that go on in the world or topics about life, like homosexuality. Mm-hmm. I grew up Christian, so it's a big fight in my brain of whether or not, and I know this is going to make me sound weird. You heard what I said before, and you're about to listen to me now. Don't take it out of context.
Okay.
But I do sit down, and when I think of stuff like my belief in God, I sit down and I'm like, can I really support a God? Like, take the Bible out of the picture, take everything the LGBTQ community says and everybody who supports them says, take that away. Me, myself, what do I believe when it comes to homosexuality? And, okay, let's establish that belief. Does it line up with either of them? And if it does, is there room to shake to one side or the other? Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I have those kind of debates in my head about almost everything now.
Yeah.
And just to clarify before Z starts talking, the LGBTQ side won. Not the Bible. I'm not a hateful piece of shit. Don't make me out to be.
Okay, and in terms of that, I also grew up Christian. I mean, I still consider myself Christian right now. But I don't find myself to be very religious in most senses. because like the LGBTQ community, I support them. You do what you want to do. I'm not going to take part in, I'm not going to claim to be a homosexual or anything. Cause I mean, I'm
You're
not.
not going to pop on your knees for one time?
No.
I mean, you did throw ass a couple weeks ago.
I mean, I did, but I also was horrible at it, which, I mean, if I was good, would read some questions for myself. But, but like, I find myself like, I just don't judge people based on their own sexuality, beliefs, whatever. So I've got friends of all over the world. Like, there's no room for me. If I had that straight line sense of homosexuality is a sin, I wouldn't have almost every friend that I have right now. And it's just
friends
like,
are gay?
No, not all of them. I said almost.
Okay.
A lot of them are in the shakier area.
Some context clues for everybody. Let me just summarize what Z said. He admits to throwing ass a couple weeks ago, and he's friends with strictly homosexuals. So every sign's pointing at gay. Z? Do we need to retitle this episode Z Coming Out the Closet?
No, I think we're good without that because it would be a false title.
You're recording in what looks like a closet.
Well, thanks for calling my room small.
I was about to say, it doesn't really, but let me just keep going with it.
But, okay, change of topics here. What do you think about the phrase, boys just being boys?
I think that's a very loaded kind of thing. Because in my life, I've never heard it to justify a shitty situation. Outside of pro wrestling, funny enough. Ric Flair was known to get butt-ass naked, put on this long trench coat, and flash the other wrestlers. They found it hilarious. Tommy Dreamer himself has a weird obsession with Ric Flair's Nature Boy. That was a funny joke if you know pro wrestling. All the pro wrestling fans out there are like, oh my God, Jack, you're so funny. I'm subscribing right now. I appreciate it. But he did that cornering a flight attendant. He cornered a flight attendant on a plane and did that. And the excuse I hear, and I continue to hear, is, well, it's just the boys. He does it to the boys. So, like, he thought it was okay. In that sense, go fuck yourself.
I've only ever seen that phrase be used. I don't think, as much as I can remember, I don't think I've heard that phrase being said towards me or about anybody I know. Yeah. But I've seen it used a lot in social media, not recently, but in the past. And every time it's always a shitty situation that they're trying to get the kid out of. Because it's usually a kid whenever that phrase is being used when I see it online. And it's just like, no, that it's not boys just being boys. You have to teach that kid to not do those things.
Yeah, so you'd be a lot more qualified to talk about that, because I'm being completely honest when I say outside of that pro wrestling sphere, I never really hear that outside of the people that talk about toxic masculinity, and that's one of the talking points. But one thing I have heard in regards to that is like, let your sons go out in the back and just beat the shit out of each other for a little bit. Let the boys be boys. I've heard that when like get into a fight. And honestly, I don't know how I feel about that. If my kid is fighting another kid, obviously I'm getting in the middle. But if it's, brothers duking out a little bit, I might wait a couple seconds.
Let them get a few good hits in. Come back.
See who wins. See who wins and the loser gets grounded.
I don't think I'd do that, but I grew up fighting my cousins quite a bit. And, we don't like hate each other. We never like fist fought or anything, but I find that, I do have a brother. If I had a brother I was close to, and we got in that sort of situation, I wouldn't want it to be broken up. 'Cause, I know my friend, her boyfriend, and his brother, they've like straight up fist fought, and sure, let him get it out, but also I'm not going to label that let the boys just be boys. just gonna label it, let the brothers get it out, because they're just kind of, they're settling an argument and it's between them. So I mean, it's not my place to step in. But if I was like their dad, and of course if they were doing it in a sense that would, hurt some property or damage property or anything, then I would stop, break it up. But let them outside, do what you got to do. Just know you're both getting your ass whooped when you get back in.
Well, that's a segue into the aggressiveness. Mm-hmm. Right. And I guess that kind of fighting. I was halfway joking when I said I would just let him duke it out for a couple seconds. But the aggressiveness, because men, I don't know the studies, so I'm just talking out of my ass right now, but in my personal experience, so anecdotal, I got it that time. Did I get it that time? I got it that time, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Hell yeah. But in my experience, men seem to be quite a bit more aggressive than women. And I feel like you can have the releases in, say, football. Football is how I got my anger out a lot. Just cracking motherfuckers, right?
Yeah.
But I think that it is important to teach the lesson of, hey, physically doing something to someone is not how you resolve an issue.
Yeah.
It's just not. Just because you can kick the shit out of someone doesn't make you right. So I think that needs to be taught. Maybe you let them duke it out whenever.
Yeah.
But you gotta let them learn. That's not how you settle things in the real world. That's just not.
That's true. And I mean, I totally get that. I mean, I had Josh Wolf. You know him, stand-up comedian. He told a story in one of his shows that there was always the point where you grow up and you're just like going to fight your dad.
Yeah.
And I think that is kind of in the way I think he was trying to tell it, is just not going to work out because your dad's just always going to win. Mm-hmm. But
that's why you got to wait till he's in the nursery.
All right.
slip his caretaker $20 and just say, let me RKO this motherfucker.
But I mean, that's and the way I took it was, that's how you teach your kid, that your son, in most cases, that violence is going to be the answer, because you could lose, and then what? You're just wrong, and you had your ass handed to you.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah. And that's the way I took it, as far as letting violence solve the answer. Because I mean, if you think you're going to fight me, especially if you're like my teenage son, if you think you're going to fight me to prove your point, I'll just give you a quick little ass whooping and then be like, all right, now what'd you learn?
Just smack him across the face and be like, what were you doing?
But I also did grow up getting my ass whooped, so.
But no, I never thought that there would come a day where I'd fight my dad. I fought my stepdad a couple times, or I didn't fight him, but I bucked up to him and it almost came to it, but he was a drug-addicted, abusive asshat. Not going to go too into that. I'm just going to give you the label of what he actually is, and that's not a legend. Motherfucker went to jail because of it. But,
yeah.
He didn't go to jail, but cops definitely found possession. Anyways, I said I wasn't going to go into that story, and I started to go into it.
Yeah.
But where was I going with this? The aggression.
Yeah.
The aggression. I'm just saying, chill out. And if you see, I hate because this is the excuse I hear a lot. Well, in history, the people who win were the ones who fought and the ones who beat, right? Mm-hmm. That is why we progress, right? That's what progression is. Can we all agree on that?
Yeah.
Hey, maybe we shouldn't send young men out to get shot on a beach just because, well, I mean, that World War II was not fought because Jews were being killed. That was just something we found out and being like, oh my God. Oh my God. But just because there's such a you measure your dick and you're upset that it's too short, so now you're going to send your guys to go die. Fuck you, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. I'm not a
That
big
is not related to
proponent
masculinity at all.
It's related to aggression.
Well, it's kind of related because that's the thing, right? Because men grow up, don't show emotions, believe in this, be strong in this, no one can move you, whatever. And a lot of guys, that warrior thing, fuck you. Shut up.
Yeah.
Find a compromise.
The king of the jungle type dudes. It's just they're so cringy to me.
Yeah.
So I mean, I know of a guy who's like, my friend asked him, "What's your favorite animal?" And his response was, "A lion, because a lion's the king of the jungle." Shut up.
I used to think like that because I listen to a lot of motivational stuff, and now I'm like, dude, it's a sloth because I just want to chill. Just want to chill out.
But then I had something I was going to say and then forgot it immediately. Go ahead.
Well, no. That's what I really want to talk about. What we talked about what makes a good man, the qualities in a good man. What constitutes a bad man?
For one, that term toxic masculinity. We've had our own definitions of that earlier in the show. But toxic masculinity is like a big one for me.
Yeah.
And also the hard stuck mindset. Even when you're wrong, known a couple guys like that.
Stubborn.
They're just like, huh?
Stubborn.
Yeah. And like, my granddad, he's a good man, but he's also stubborn as fuck.
Yeah.
So like, it's I can't really say that's a quality I'll consider a bad man, because my granddad's stubborn, but he'll provide for the family if he needs to. He helps out when he's asked to. So I can't say he's a bad man because he's not. But I do think like that stubbornness, especially when you're wrong, is not a good look.
Yeah.
On top of toxic masculinity, on top of sexism, because there's a lot of guys that I've seen around that are just like, "Oh, you can't do that. You're a woman. Find a man to do this for me." Like, no, that's just
go fuck yourself.
Yeah. What does them being a woman have to do with anything?
Yeah, no, I can kind of relate to that because I love my dad, but my grandfather's been more of a father figure in my life. Mm-hmm. A lot of stuff has happened. I'm not saying it's my dad's fault. It's a whole situation.
Yeah.
But my grandfather, I can say the same things about. There's a lot of stuff that he's just so stubborn, unwilling to change.
Mm-hmm.
So I can fully relate to... And that's what's hard about it, right? You see a good person that you want to look up to, and you see the bad qualities as well, especially when you're close to them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's difficult because I know... I said I wasn't going to start taking apart this mic stand right now, but I was saying that as I started twisting the thing off. But you see the bad qualities, and you get into the struggle, especially when it's someone like your grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
Of like, I've looked up to this dude my entire life. He has practically raised me. I don't know if it's the same with your grandfather.
It is. He
was the male figure in my life that I looked up to for everything, and he's done so much for me. But my God, dude. I'm not going to put my grandfather's business on the streets, but he is a Christian male. So that should just give you the context you need.
Yeah, I'm not going to put my granddad stuff, but my granddad is also like the father figure in my life. And like, let's say, I'll give you an example. I got him to co-sign on me with a loan for school. 10 grand. He did not let me live that loan down for the duration that we were paying it off.
Yeah.
He's like, "Don't you forget to pay." And I was like, "I already paid." He was like, "All right, I don't need you messing with my credit score." And I was like, "You told me this 6 times already. I get it."
No,
and that was within the first 2 months.
I want to answer the debate between what is a real man and what's a fake man. Is there such a thing? Like, is the guy who is this skinny little twink less of a man than the married mechanic?
I think that, I don't know if I'd have a definite answer on that one, but I believe that distinction is how you carry yourself. Like,
Also,
skinny dude could be, real tiny, lanky, whatever, but he could have a job that pays well, that supports him and whoever else he's supporting, if anybody else. He's able to do what he wants to do without having to cut other things off.
yeah.
And I mean, same goes for the married mechanic man. It's just, sure, that's his profession, his job. He's got a manly job, but I don't think it really matters whether how he works or whatever he does, as long as he carries himself in a particular way that's manly enough, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know how I want to say that very well.
Well, it's because I'm so sick of hearing, I don't know, the blue collar worker look at like a streamer and say, well, you're not a real man because you're not out in these oil fields.
The get a real job kind of people.
Yeah. I'm not too mad about that because streamers are little cunts. I like to say content creation is harder than whatever.
I don't think there's one is harder than the other. It's just, it's two completely different fields you're trying to compare.
It's two different things. So shut the fuck up and stop getting in this. I hate that. And we're going to delve back into real man versus fake man, but I've hated that since high school. I even delved into it when I was in high school, and it adds on to the reasons, as I said last week, that I want to take myself in the back and shoot myself when I was in high school. Ooh. But this whole, like, my life is harder than your life. This happened to me. I have to go through this. Shut up.
You just sound like a whiny bitch when you try and say shit like that.
Save it for your fucking therapist. I'm not going to feel worse. If we're having a conversation, I'm trying to help you out with something, especially mentally, yes, that information will be relevant. But if I'm like, man, my dad beats the shit out of me, and you're like, well, I cut myself. Shut up.
And for the record, when I said the person who's like talks like that, it sounds like a whiny bitch. I'm not like trying to like, back when we said earlier, like, shit on them for having issues. It's shitting on them for thinking their issues are more important than somebody else's. Your issues should be your number one priority. You shouldn't have to involve anybody else into that. So when you try and compare your life to somebody else's, like, yeah, my life is harder. Okay, did you get help for that? Did you do anything to change that? Why are you telling me?
But back to it. Just because you look a little different, you like that flesh. I try to come with some weird way to say dick, but I'm just gonna say dick. If you like dick and you don't like vagina, that doesn't make you less of a man. That just makes you different. Yeah. Shut the fuck up. I hate that so much. And I also hate how people go back
really
that people want to argue the whole, like, there's men, there's women, there's non-binary people, there's whoever. Mm-hmm. Can y'all stop with someone who says real man, fake man, whatever, trying to get that gotcha? I'm losing myself in my thought, but god damn it, I'm gonna power through. But you get what I'm saying when someone is like, there's real men and fake men, and you have these people that believe men, women, non-binary. Oh, so like gender is a spectrum. It's like, yeah, but you believe that a woman is a woman and a man is a man if we want to go on that logic. I hate people trying to get that. It's the same thing when someone is homophobic and they're like, oh, it's okay, come out as gay, just to piss them off. You are hurting your message, you dumb piece of shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But back to this.
No, let's continue.
But back to that rhetoric of real man, fake man, real woman, fake woman. Shut up. I will say you're not a real man if you're a fucking drunk who smacks his wife. You are a pussy. You're
a piece of shit. Yeah.
You are not a man. Mm-hmm. But if you fucking wear a crop top, paint your hair, and are gay, you're still a man. That's what it came down to. That's what I wanted to. That's what it was coming down to.
I want to wind back a little to aggression, because I had this thought pop up after we finished talking about it. I think that if we gave men the avenue to feel their feelings, that would severely help with the over aggressive like dudes that try and fight about everything they say.
Yeah.
Like if their first thought is to argue
like
with you.
Therapy.
Yeah.
Not that that's such a fucking, oh, you're a little bitch if you go to therapy. Oh, therapy's for whatever.
No, therapy's a very real profession that helps people understand their feelings. So, I mean.
And I want you young men, because I've seen the analytics. There's a lot of young men that watch this podcast. Well, a lot. We have like 5 people who watch the podcast. But the young men who may hear this, it's not women's fault that men's mental health is fucked up.
No.
Okay?
No.
They're their own person. But as a whole, women have grown in this same society where they are supposed to look up to a man who does this, that, and the other. And yeah, there's some fucked up women that will do fucked up shit to you. But you know what? There's fucked up men that will do fucked up shit to you. It wasn't a woman giving you a wedgie and giving you a swirly and calling you a little queer, right? I don't think I'm supposed to say that.
Probably not.
Shit. Anyway, it wasn't, you get what I'm saying. It wasn't me. It was this piece of shit that was talking, all right?
Yeah.
It wasn't women doing that, okay? It is not a woman's fault that men's mental health is in the gutter.
Yeah, it's not. It's a play on both sides. Like, both women and men have a role in putting men's mental health in the gutter because men grew up like you shouldn't express your feelings. You should always stay neutral, calm, whatever. And a woman was, however long ago, was taught that growing up. And it's like a man shouldn't show his feelings, shouldn't cry, whatever. And that just plays onto how both sides came in to get this one fucked up person that's just like, yeah, no, women suck because I shouldn't show my feelings. And they told me not to when I tried.
That's what I'm saying. It's not women. If there was a percentage, it'd be maybe 2%. Because as I said, those women learned it from their fathers. This is what a man is supposed to be. Mm-hmm. I'm not absolving women from all responsibility because as a woman, I'm going to say this right now. You should, if your father taught you this is what a man is supposed to be, and it was don't show emotions, provide for your family, all that, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not saying providing for your family is bad. I'm saying it's impossible for one person to do it unless you're stupid rich. But if you continue to perpetuate that, when you have learned better, when you get out of the house and you have learned better, you're a piece of shit and you're part of the problem. Mm-hmm. But it's 95% this system, your fathers, your grandfathers, the men in the past. It is 95% their fault that men's suicide rate is so high. It's not some chick that broke your heart. Okay?
Yep. And while I'm not saying that can't happen, I mean, people are depressed and shit happens. Yeah, I understand. But in this situation that we're talking, the men's suicide rates, I don't know what promoted all those stats went into, but if it's not depression or if it's not something along those lines, it's usually something that could have been fixed.
And it's much more complex than that. It's social media. It's the system. It's whatever you're going through now. Mm-hmm. Okay? I'm not trying to be that person like, oh my God, stop hating on women, okay? And sitting back and be like, oh, I'm going to get so much pussy tonight. I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
Okay? Just saying. Look broader and don't be a sexist, woman-hating fucking piece of shit. You saw the Little Rascals and you're like, we're the He-Man Woman Haters Club and I'm staying in that for life. You're a loser. You're a loser. But we're kind of...
Those are kid thoughts.
Coming up on an hour. Anything else we want to talk about, we want to touch on? Z?
No, I think I'm good. But what we can do is we can clean it up with a little outro here. Well, I understand. I understand that what we talked about today has been a little racy, but it's...
Racy?
Shut up.
I I do a good enough job myself painting me as a racist on this podcast. I don't need your help doing it, all right?
Okay, yeah, sure. He's a part of the He-Man Woman Haters Club now.
I'm part of the He-Man Woman Haters Club. Also a club that has 3 letters, and that's all you need to know. God damn it, I'm leaving. Fuck this. I'm not a racist, I swear to God.
I believe you this time.
This time. Just for this.
But yeah, any topics you want to touch on before we head out?
I just want to leave on this. Men, learn. Be open to learn. Don't be stuck in your ways. Young men, it's okay to look for a masculine figure to look up to. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. But there is going to be problems with them. And that's a message for everybody, especially
Nobody's
men
perfect.
with a lot of these red pill leaders coming up and you worshiping them. Do not worship anybody like that. Jordan Peterson has some dumb shit transphobic beliefs. Andrew Tate, sex trafficker. Everybody in the red pill community, allegedly, they say, work on yourself, work out, get your money up, whatever. They also have some pretty fucking shitty beliefs on women. So when you're looking for this masculine figure, just know they have their flaws and learn for yourself. That's all I'm saying.
Learn from that. There's points where you can, I want to be like that, and there's points where you can say, I want to grow to be better than that.
Yeah.
Nobody's perfect. Everybody has their flaws.
And that's for everybody, but especially young men in this craze of the red pill community infecting young men's minds.
Yeah.
But, as always, let us know what y'all think in the comments, on the Twitter, on whatever you do, because we do have a Twitter now.
Yes,
Red
we
Light
do.
Homies, RLH Pod on Twitter. It will be in the description. Let us know what y'all thought. We'll see y'all next Monday. This was the homie Jackie and Z. We're signing off.
Peace out.